I am the sister of the late legendary Supreme Florence Ballard. I am also the author of the just recently released book of the true story of Florence Ballard. And I have a message to deliver. I have a message to deliver to all of her wonderful fans all over the world. This message will dispel any rumors concerning her life and her death. There is 3 segments of interviews, and I am going to let you have the pleasure of listening to one of those. But right now, I would like to say a few words concerning my sister's life. My sister was a beautiful person. She wanted to live. She wanted to raise her beautiful children. And her life was taken away from her. Yes, I said taken away from her. You will read more about this in my second book, Book 2, of the terrifying secrets between 2 sisters. But right now, my message is to dispel any and all rumors surrounding her death. And I would like for you to order my book on Amazon.com or go to my website at MaxineBallard.com, where you will also receive not only this interview, but another interview of my sister in its entirety. And I want you to listen to every word of that interview. There's also a song that I recorded that my sister loved, and it's called Black Up Face. So right now, I would just like for you to look at me as a messenger for my sister Florence Ballard, because I do have a message to deliver to the world for her. She's not here to deliver it, but I am here to deliver it for her. We were 11 months apart, we were very close, and my sister wanted to live. So sit back and relax and listen to this interview from my sister's words, speaking from the grave.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you are just joining us, you are inside the Juke Joint on 98.7 KISS FM, and I'm your host, Leonard Brown, and we are talking to Miss Maxine Precious Ballard. Miss Ballard, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Now,
how are you today?
Miss Ballard, we are just great having you on the show, and we're so glad to have the opportunity to tell this story. This is such a great story of the life of one of the greatest entertainers there's ever been.
I feel blessed to be on your show, and I thank you so much for the opportunity.
Well, no problem, Miss Ballard, because a lot of people won't know that the actual reasons that the Supremes got their start is actually you. It was a love thing going on. We're going to talk. Let me read this. In mid-June 1958, school was out for the summer, and it was hot. Flo and I were sitting on our front steps in the Brewster's Project when a man with his arm in a sling, driving a sharp red, white Cadillac, drove slowly past our house. We were wondering why the man was staring at us so hard. And all of a sudden, he turned his car around and pulled up on our front porch, got out of his car, and introduced himself. And he said his name is Milton Jenkins.
That's right.
And Milton had 3 fine young men with him, and I couldn't help but stare as he introduced them as the Primes. And this was Eddie Kendricks, Paul Williams, and Kyle Osborne. And after staring at Paul and Eddie for a minute, your eyes drifted to Mr. Jenkins.
Yes, they did.
Well.
It was love at first sight.
And so, in other words, if the love that you and Mr. Jenkins established hadn't started, maybe the Supremes never would have been heard of.
I doubt it very seriously.
There it is, ladies and gentlemen. Wow. You heard it first on the Juke Joint.
World premiere.
And ladies and gentlemen, Milton Jenkins is a person from Birmingham, Alabama. A lot of people don't know that, but he was the guy that managed Eddie and them before they got their start with the Primes. With the Primes and the Primettes.
Right.
And so what we're going to do right now, I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to play some of the Primettes, the first record that the Primettes cut ever.
Okay.
So here we go with it. And then the name of the song, Tears of Sorrow. You are inside the Juke Joint on 98.7 KISS FM.
Welcome back. Just a reminder to please go to Amazon.com or to MaxineBallard.com and order my book, The True Story of Florence Ballard. And that's only if you would like to know the true story of Florence Ballard. If you order from my website, you will also receive a bonus CD of my sister's interview and also of this interview. Please go to my website, MaxineBallard.com, and order. Thank you so much to all of her wonderful fans all over the world. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, again, if you're just joining us, you are listening to the Supremes, better known as the Primettes, and this was their very first recording. And I'll tell you what we also have. We actually have Florence Ballard, speaking herself about how the group got started. Here's Miss Florence Ballard speaking exactly on how the group got started. Here we go.
As a group, we were together from the age of 15 on up until 1967. How it came about was a man by the name of Milton Jenkins. He was interested in my voice. He was then managing a group called the Primes, which consisted of Eddie Kendricks and Paul Williams, who were the Temptations. So I was asked by Paul and Eddie, did I know any other girls who sang? And I told him, sure. I knew Mary, because Mary and I went to elementary school together, and Diana lived in the Brewster Projects not too far from me. So I contacted them, and that's how it started.
Oh, my God, here we go. Wow. So this is Miss Florence Ballard, ladies and gentlemen. This is a tape of her last interview before she passed, and we're talking to her sister, Miss Maxine Precious Ballard, right now, and that had to be something hard for you to go through, Miss Ballard, in dealing with your sister.
Yes, it was very hard because we were very close. We were only 11 months apart, and it's still hard. You know, it's something that you never get over, because when you lose someone, you lose a part of yourself.
I understand that. I had a brother that passed, and I felt that same feeling. We were about the same time apart as you and Flo are, and I understand that totally. But I also see that during that time, you left the hospital, or were you there with her the entire time before she passed?
I was not there the entire time. I came. I think my brother was there when I got there, and my brother left. He was just devastated at the fact that she was laying there and couldn't get up out of the bed. Mm-hmm. And I stayed there until the wee hours of the morning.
Oh, I know that had to be rough for you.
It was very rough, but I'm glad that I was there, because the words that she spoke to me, you know, they will forever live in my heart. And I know this is why I had to put this book out and tell the true story of Florence Ballard, because Florence Ballard wanted to live.
That's right.
She wanted to live, and she wanted to live for her children and for herself. And she loved singing, and she knew she had a career, and she was just beginning to get herself off the ground again and start over. And the main thing, the last words she said to me was, I can't move my legs.
Ah, yes.
You know, and then she pulled herself up to kiss me on the cheek. And I told her, I said, I love you. And she told me, I love you too. Well, I figured she would be all right, but unfortunately, that didn't happen.
Yeah,
my mother called me the next morning at 10 o'clock, and after I went home, she called me back at 10 o'clock and told me Florence had passed.